Bible stories and hidden esoteric messages. A deeper look into sacred texts. The Bible, one of the most influential books in human history, has shaped religious, cultural, and philosophical thought for thousands of years. While many read its stories as historical accounts or moral lessons, others believe that the Bible contains hidden esoteric messages, codes, symbols, and allegories designed to reveal deeper spiritual truths. These hidden layers of meaning have fascinated mystics, scholars, and seekers throughout the ages. From the Kabbalistic interpretations of Jewish mysticism to the allegorical readings of early Christian Gnostics, esoteric traditions view the Bible as more than a mere religious text. Instead, it is a spiritual map, offering guidance to those who seek enlightenment, self-knowledge, and a deeper understanding of the divine. This article will explore some of the most well-known Bible stories, uncovering their potential esoteric meanings and how they relate to ancient mystical traditions. The story of Adam and Eve. The Fall, or the Awakening. The story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, Genesis 2-3, is traditionally understood as humanity's fall from grace. However, esoteric traditions interpret this narrative as something much more profound. Esoteric interpretation. The tree of knowledge of good and evil symbolizes dualism, the awareness of opposites, which is essential for self-awareness and free will. The serpent is often seen not as a deceiver, but as a bringer of wisdom, akin to the serpent in many mystical traditions representing Kundalini energy or spiritual awakening. The act of eating the fruit is not a sin, but the moment of conscious awakening, where humanity transitions from an unconscious state to one of self-awareness. Gnostic Christians, such as the followers of Valentinus, saw the God of the Old Testament, Yahweh, as a lesser deity or demiurge who sought to keep humanity in ignorance, while the serpent, often identified with the figure of Sophia or divine wisdom, encouraged them to seek knowledge. This perspective drastically changes the meaning of the story, portraying it as the beginning of spiritual evolution rather than a fall into sin. The Tower of Babel, a warning or a lost spiritual technology. The story of the Tower of Babel, Genesis 11:1-9, describes humanity's attempt to build a tower to heaven. God, seeing this effort, confounds their language and scatters them across the earth. Esoteric interpretation. The tower symbolizes human ambition to reach divine knowledge through unity and cooperation. The confounding of languages represents the loss of spiritual unity, where humanity's collective consciousness was fragmented. Some mystical traditions believe that this story refers to the loss of a primordial language, a pure, divine form of communication, sometimes linked to the Hebrew alphabet or even lost forms of telepathic understanding. This interpretation suggests that the punishment was not due to arrogance, but rather because humanity was accessing higher spiritual knowledge prematurely. Some esotericists believe that the fragmentation of languages mirrors the fragmentation of spiritual wisdom across different traditions, requiring seekers to piece it back together. The Exodus from Egypt, a symbol of spiritual liberation. The story of Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt, Exodus, is central to Jewish and Christian traditions, but it can also be understood as a powerful allegory for spiritual enlightenment. Esoteric interpretation. Egypt represents materialism and ignorance, the lower state of consciousness dominated by worldly desires. Pharaoh symbolizes the ego, which refuses to let the soul embark on its spiritual journey. The plagues can be seen as internal trials, experiences that force the soul to awaken and seek higher truth. The Red Sea parting represents a transcendental leap in consciousness, where the spiritual self separates from its lower attachments. This story echoes alchemical transformation, the process of turning base matter, ignorance, into spiritual gold, enlightenment. The journey from slavery to the promised land mirrors the soul's journey from darkness to illumination. The hidden meaning of Jesus' miracles. Jesus' miracles are traditionally viewed as supernatural events proving his divine authority. However, esoteric traditions often see them as symbols of inner transformation rather than literal occurrences. Esoteric interpretation: turning water into wine. John 2:1-11. Water represents the lower material state of consciousness. Wine symbolizes spiritual enlightenment and divine knowledge. The transformation reflects alchemy, where the soul is refined into something divine. Healing the blind. John 9:1-12. Blindness is often a symbol for spiritual ignorance. Jesus restoring sight symbolizes the awakening of higher perception, seeing beyond illusion. Walking on water. Matthew 14:22-33. Water represents the emotional and subconscious realm. Walking on it symbolizes mastery over emotions and fears, the ability to remain steady amidst chaos. These miracles, when viewed through an esoteric lens, align with ancient teachings about the transformation of consciousness, demonstrating that Jesus' message was one of inner awakening rather than external salvation alone. Revelation: a vision of the end or an inner transformation. The book of Revelation is often interpreted as a prophecy of the end of the world. However, esoteric traditions suggest that it describes an inner transformation of the soul. Esoteric interpretation: the four horsemen represent the different forces of change that challenge the soul's growth. The beast, 666, is not an external entity, but the ego and material attachment that enslaves humanity. The New Jerusalem descending from heaven represents the higher state of consciousness achieved after purification. Mystics see Revelation not as a literal apocalypse but as a spiritual roadmap, describing the trials and breakthroughs that lead to enlightenment. The Bible as a guide to inner wisdom. The Bible, far from being a mere historical or religious document, contains layers of hidden wisdom waiting to be unlocked. While many read it as a collection of laws, moral lessons, or prophecies, esoteric traditions see it as a symbolic guide to self-discovery and spiritual transformation. By viewing Bible stories through an esoteric lens, we see that they mirror the universal journey of the soul, from ignorance to wisdom, bondage to freedom, illusion to enlightenment. Whether through Kabbalah, Gnostic Christianity, or mystical interpretations, these ancient texts continue to reveal new insights to those willing to look beyond the surface. Ultimately, the true message of the Bible may not lie in its historical accuracy or theological doctrines, but in its ability to awaken something deeper within us, a longing for divine truth, hidden just beneath the words on the page.